All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Akakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well and teach well. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the Akyam and Aqua scattered around the four corners of the planet Earth. All right, I'm the brother Arak, and I got the brother with me. All right, I wanted to do a quick lesson. All right, going into purpose. All right, going into purpose. This is a lesson that, I've had on my spirit for, about a day or so. Being that, when you're called into this thing, and you see how the spirit is operating, okay, amongst the camps, amongst the body, one thing you're quickly gonna find out, right, if you're paying attention, is that it's well ordered, right? It's well ordered, okay. Things, people, places, and things. There's a reason for the season. There's a purpose behind everything, man. All right, because it's basically a well-functioning machine. The same way a car operates, has different components, different parts. All right, or any machine, for that matter, right? It's got levers, it's got buttons, it's got energy systems. It's the same thing with the body. And I want to say it's in 1 Corinthians 10 where Paul goes into that. I might be misquoting which chapter, but Paul talks about that. I'm not going to get it, right? But he goes into the various different offices, all right, and jobs and things of that nature. Okay, so within that, all right, really the main question you should be asking yourself is, what purpose do you serve? And that's basically the idea of the lesson. You should be praying for purpose, and you should be walking in the purpose that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai has given to you. But did you have anything you want to add?
Because being in a camp, being in that body of believers, all right, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai has put you there for a reason. All right, every organ in your body has a reason for it to be there. Nothing should be cut out. Okay, all right, but the world sees it as, oh, that's insignificant. But Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai has placed it there for a particular purpose, and it's all to come to life. Mm-hmm. All right, but I'm not gonna go on a tangent about Shay. You got it.
I'm gonna back up what you said. I'm gonna give my first precept that aligns with what you just said. This is Sirach chapter 39, and I'm gonna start at verse 16, and feel free to interject wherever.
My man.
It says, "All the works of the Lord are exceeding good," and I'll start there. All right, because there's a scripture in 1 Corinthians 2 that talks about how we are the workmanship of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay, and that's important to sit on that, because we know we ain't really shit, right? Even Yahushua himself said there's only one good, the Father, roughly paraphrasing. But that doesn't mean that our purpose cannot be of much positive, much good, man.
And you say that we are the workmanship, mm-hmm. All right? We are the Most High's working on. The Most High's working on the minds of men, every day in their sleep, all right? Especially towards the elect, because his eyes are continually upon their ways. He's continually upon the elect of his nation, all right? Because he wants you to do right, all right? He don't care about nobody else, all right? What does it say in that Joshua chapter 24, verse 15, loosely paraphrasing? Joshua said, "But here at my house, we're going to worship Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai." Okay, so that means that he don't care about anybody else. He only cares about those particular parts of the body to live.
Yep,
that's it.
And worship is obedience.
Mm-hmm.
Worship is basically submitting yourself to that workmanship, to what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is doing with you. And that has nothing to do with really what you want to do, and everything to do with the will of the Lord
So,
happening.
and just to add on to that point, because you said it's obedience, and what did the Most High say? Obedience is better than sacrifice.
Right.
All right. So yeah, you can give up things, but if you just obey,
Right.
you know, you'll get through a lot of things in life. But you got it.
Yep. This is Sirach 39:16. It says, "All the works of the Lord are exceeding good, and whatsoever he commandeth shall be accomplished in due season," right? Because you can't run away from your purpose either.
Mm-mm.
All right, that's the whole point of not the whole point, but look at Jonah.
Yep.
The story of Jonah. You can't run. There is no running away from your purpose, and really, that's a lesson on free will
Yep.
right there too.
Because
There is no free will.
I like it.
Right, there is no free will, and really, you're not gonna abound in this thing until you finally get to the point to where you're embracing and desiring to do the will of the Lord, you know, in sincerity and truth.
You know,
Okay,
you got it.
come on. This is verse 17. It says, "And none." I'm gonna read down to 21. It says, "And none may say, What is this? Wherefore is that? For at a time convenient, they shall all be sought out." Right, and that's important too because people from the outside looking in,
Yeah.
may not understand your purpose. They may not understand what it is that you're doing. All right, but that should not deter you from doing the work or fulfilling that lot that Yahweh Shem Yahushua gave to you. You know,
Because if they're on the outside looking in, they don't see the intricate details, of the day. They don't see how you get up, 4 o'clock in the morning to throw up prayers, how you conduct yourself in your daily life. All right. And only somebody that's there with you can view you as that, but even they don't know because only the Most High has that access to your inner parts, and that's what He wants overall. He wants to see if you're going to call upon Him, but that's a lesson for another day.
I got one for you.
Baruch Shah.
This is you can speak on it. This is Sirach 23:19.
Oh,
It
man.
says, "Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts."
Con. And then after that, Baruch Shah, could you pull that Sirach 17 and 19, Baruch Shah? But going into that, how about Shemi Shai, since we're talking about it, his eyes are 10,000 times more powerful than the sun, so that means that he can see every molecule that is you, okay? And he's seeing everything that you do, the wickedness, but he's also seeing the righteousness, all right? And he's weighing everything in the balance.
That's an important point because I was actually thinking about I was going to do another lesson that was going into balanced, examining yourself with balance.
Mm-hmm.
Because the scriptures do say examine yourselves, which we do, but when you're examining yourself, it shouldn't just be negative shit. You know what I mean?
But that's Satan.
Right? The scriptures say a false balance is an abomination to the Lord. If you are sincerely seeking the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua in sincerity and truth, when you're examining yourself, there should be positives. There should be positives, and then there should be negatives. You know what I mean? There should be a constant ebb and flow.
Yep.
It shouldn't just be, man, shit, man, I ain't shit. That's a demon, bro. But I got this Sirach 17.
Baruch Shah, 17 and 20. Baruch Shah.
This is Sirach 17, 19 and 20.
Yeah.
It says, "Therefore all their works are as the sun before him."
See, and Salakia, he says all that works is as the sun before them. So for one, it's like at noonday, you can see everything. All right, but also it's viewing it, in the candlelight, stance. He can see all your intricate details, all your dirty laundry.
Mm-hmm.
But you got it.
It says, "And his eyes are continually upon their ways. None of their unrighteous deeds are hid from him, but all their sins are before the Lord.
See, and this is talking about the nation of Israel, you so-called black Latinos, Native Americans, of Negro descent.
Yeah.
All right,
Gotta get this next verse.
Yeah,
Gotta get this next verse.
and with him being diligent to purge out the wickedness. All right, the Most High has to see both parts, duality. But you got it.
Yep. Sirach 17 and 21.
There you go.
It says, "But the Lord being gracious
Boom.
and knowing his workmanship, neither left nor forsook them, but spared them."
Because since the Most High knew that, hey, we could go off at any time because Jake was Jaking. Jake was doing whatever he wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but you catch that last part again.
It says, Sirach 17 and 21. It said, "But the Lord being gracious and knowing his workmanship, neither left nor forsook them, but spared them."
All right, because the Most High was showing mercy. He was showing mercy unto the nation of Israel, just like he does every day. Every day you wake up, that's mercy. All right, but you got it.
Yep. This is back in Sirach 39 and verse 17. It says, "And none may say, what is this, wherefore is that? For at the time convenient they shall all be sought out."
Mm-hmm.
Again, and that's, you got to have a long term, you got to have a big picture, macro mindset in this thing. You can't think about, this thing on a small level. When it's all said and done, right, and prophecy unfolds, and we're before the presence of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, he's the one we're worried about. We're not worried. We're not worried about the opinions of niggas on the comment boards. You know what I mean? It says, "At his commandment, the waters stood as an heap, and at the words of his mouth, the receptacles of water. At his commandment is done whatsoever pleaseth him, and none can hinder when he will save." All right, let me jump down. I'm going to jump down to verse 21, because this is the point.
Yeah.
It says, "A man need not to say, what is this, wherefore is that? For he hath made all things for their uses."
Yep.
Okay, so you have been created for a use. And it might be a multitude of uses.
Yep.
Right? You got something called a Swiss Army knife.
Yep.
Or a multi-tool. Right? You have some brothers that may be multi-tools. You got some brother that may be a hammer. Because hammers got what? You can hit with a hammer, and you can take out nails with a hammer. Yeah. Or you can knock a nigga out in the head. Not playing. Yeah. But you should be asking yourself, this is more of a lesson just to encourage brothers you should be examining, asking Yahweh Hashem Yahushua to make sure you're walking in that purpose.
Yep. And where in the puzzle do you fit?
Right.
So you can, use the gift that he's giving you 10 times, 100 times better.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
I'll go to my next precept. This is Ephesians chapter 1. Did you have anything there? This is Ephesians 1 and 11. It says, "In whom we also have obtained an inheritance." Okay, an inheritance is basically a possession that's passed down, from your father unto you. An allotment, a portion.
Yeah.
Like the firstborn will receive a double portion. You know what I'm saying? So let me read this again, Ephesians 1 and 11. It says, "In whom we also obtained an inheritance, being predestinated according to the purpose of him who worketh all things after the counsel of his will." Now there's power in this, because if you were predestined to do something, that means that not only do you have the ability to do it and the wherewithal to do it in you already, right? But also the external, the environment, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is going to make that way for you. That way has already been made. It's already been predestined.
Yep.
So understanding that gives you confidence.
And if I may say, with you having that predestination, and since it's already in you, even though you don't know it, the Most High knows it, and really, Yahweh Shai is the key to unlocking it.
Yeah.
All right. So you have to be spiritually minded. In this thing of ours, you have to be spiritually minded in order to walk according to the path that's before you. You can't just be jumping and hopping and doing all that, especially in the scriptures, especially going out here talking and have these other camps come up against you. You have to keep the main thing the main thing.
Right.
But you got it.
That's it. I'm gonna read the next verse because you made that point about Yahushua. Yeah. Ephesians 1:12. I'll read verse 11 again. It says, "In whom also we obtained an inheritance, being predestined according to the purpose of Him who worketh all things after the counsel of His will, that we should be to the praise of His glory, who first trusted in Hamashiach."
See, and that's the key. That's the key that unlocks the whole mission.
Yep.
Okay, you got it.
This is I got another one, and I'm gonna read this. 2 Timothy chapter 1, and I gotta read verse 7. It's hard to not read verse 7. It's right there. It says, "For God hath given us, for God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." All right. So there should be no. If the Lord has put something on your spirit, all right, to do or to say, all right, that's your purpose. Do it. You know what I mean? Eliminate fear. Eliminate doubt. All right, anxiety. All right, because the Lord just said He's given us power, and He's given us love, and He's given us a sound mind. All right, This is the point of verse 8. It says, "Be not therefore ashamed of the testimony of our Lord, nor of me His prisoner, all right, but be thou partaker of the afflictions of the gospel according to the power of God." All right, and Paul calls himself a prisoner here, all right, not just because he's a literal prisoner, but because he was so locked in to his purpose. Yep. He was so locked into what Yahweh Shem Yahushua called him to do. When you read Paul's epistles, you get a point.
If Lee, could you read 7 again, Baba Shah?
This is 2 Timothy 1:7. It says, "For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind."
All right, and that spiritual that spirit of fear, the Most High didn't even put that in us. All right, we're just supposed to react off faith. All right, just to hit that point. But you got it.
This is 2 Timothy 1 and verse 9. It says, "Who hath saved us and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to His own purpose and grace, which was given us in Yahweh Shai HaMashiach before the world began."
Yeah. So we have been, placed in a beautiful spot, okay? Because Yahweh Shem Yahushua has set all this up from the beginning, and now it is acting through you, all right? Through the things that you do, all right? And every step of the way, you can't have that doubt spirit. You have to have full-fledged, 100% faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, or else you're going to fall thereby. All right?
Yep. I'm going to read this in the NLT, 2 Timothy 1:9. It says, "For God saved us and called us to live a holy life. He did this not because we deserved it, but because that was His plan from before the beginning of time."
See? How about Shemi Al-Shai orchestrated all this? All right? And we're just supposed to have faith, and hope in His grace and mercy, because we fuck up every day, I myself included. I pray how about Shemi Al-Shai keeps dealing with me the way that He has. All right? Because it's sweet now. All right? What's that scripture? How it talks about don't overbeat a servant, or he'll have a blue mark. Loosely paraphrasing.
Yeah, I know the blueness of the wound.
Yeah. Because Yahweh Shemi Al-Shai is just harping on us to do better. That's Sirach chapter 17 verse 25, I perceive, because we have to know when we have done wrong so we can do better and strive for the mastery. But you got it. So like I didn't want to go on a tangent.
Con, I'm gonna go ahead and I got a closer.
Yeah.
This is John chapter 15 and 16. It says, ooh boy, so much good stuff here. It says, I'm gonna read. John's gonna get to the point. John 15 and 16. It says, "Ye have not chosen me,
Who?
but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that ye should go and bring forth fruit,
Woo!
and that your fruit should remain." All right. So when you're in alignment with that purpose, all right. Well, first you gotta understand that you're here because Yahweh Shem Yahushua chose you.
Yep.
And once you understand that He chose you, you understand that He chose you to do particular works.
Yep. Particular works
to bring forth fruit.
And
You know. I'll finish this out. It says, "Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain." Right? Because if you're doing the will of the Lord, all right, if you're in alignment with your purpose in regards to your daily life, the ministry, that's gonna follow you all the way to the kingdom.
Yep.
And the kingdom is forever.
Yep.
So that's forever gonna be a part of your legacy. That's like the brother said a second ago. You said something about a puzzle. You said, how'd you say it? The way we fit. You gotta find your fit, how you fit into the puzzle.
Yep. Gotta find how you fit into the puzzle so you can, do that purpose, 100 times more.
Mm-hmm.
And going into your last point, because in that scripture, whenever you read it, it made me think of Jeremiah.
Mm-hmm.
It made me think of
Jeremiah 1 or something else.
Jeremiah where he
Called him.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
where the Most High called him Moses. Because Moses he thought that he couldn't do the job because he had a speech impediment. Well, shit, a lot of brothers got speech impediments, but yet we're still out here pushing for the will, strength, and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, openly, in front of all the people. Okay, so
John 15:16, it says, "Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain.
Yeah.
That whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, He may give it to you."
Yeah.
So power,
Yeah.
pure, like the elder Argonazi always says, pure power, man.
Pure, unadulterated power.
And as we get closer to the end of this thing, that's what's coming. That's what's coming to Akyam and everybody, to the whole body, because we all need divine intervention to get out of the situation. We all need power to get out of the situation, spiritual power, and that's what's coming to those who are obedient and are in alignment with the will of the Lord. So, just wanted to make the point on that. Do you have anything else you want to add?
You guys out.
God, Lord's willing, this lesson was edifying. With that, we give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Akakodash. The water for the brothers that tuned in, and shalom to the next lesson.
Shalom, shalom.